when the Colorado River broke off and it started filling up the 280-foot deep sea in 1905. It stopped in 1907. It is 40 miles long and 13 miles wide and covered over 400 square miles.
It has been referred to as an indoor lake in the 1950s and 60s. Salination levels were lower, and the Salton Sea was a popular tourist hotspot. By the 1970s, rising salinity, shoreline flooding, and fertilizer runoff from nearby farmers created unsafe algal blooms, which gave rise to elevated bacterial levels.
Experts want to begin a project where the environmental programmer and Department of Fish and Game do a project that consists of 2,400 interconnected ponds and is to begin end of 2011. The sea is shrinking and has high amounts of saline. It's 50% more saltier than the Pacific Ocean. Agriculture runoff water is the sea's primary source of replenishment. When a classmate of ours went there was so much salt that the sand looked white, and when stepped on, it was hard and crunchy.
Time is running out to fix the Salton Sea because it is drying up. You still cannot swim in it.
It has stopped being a tourist attraction. Most commonly used idea to fix it is to build canals across the U.S. and Mexico border that connects to the seas of Cortez, 125 miles to the south, to import water into the Salton Sea.
It is to take place 2022, and it will cost $200 million to $8 billion. Experts say 60% or 3/4 will be gone by 2023 if nothing takes place to prevent the decrease of the Salton Sea.
Lots of kids have asthma. Part of it is caused by the Salton Sea. 5 out of 10 have respiratory problems due to the Salton Sea.
The Salton Sea is decreasing at an alarming rate, and time is running out. Fixing the Salton Sea would be the largest liquid project in the northern part of the United States of America since the Hoover Dam, which is located near Boulder City.
Locals could form a committee to clean up the dead fish and trash on the shores of the Salton Sea. Located around Riverside in the Imperial Counties in Southern California, the committee would be to prevent any more pollution, also to better the air quality.
Salton Sea was created in 1905 when the Colorado River floodwater got an irrigation canal. The original name was Lake Coahuila after Native Americans lived there.
Salton Sea was once a destination for visitors and stars, such as Marilyn Monroe and the Beach Boys seeking out gorgeous views, but because of toxic and pollution, it is dangerous to go. .5 million people would used to visit annually. Now the population is 261. Experts say that the Salton Sea will shrink 60% by 2030.
Sonny Bono was in charge of the Salton Sea National Wildlife Refuge. Sonny Bono helped it, but it was not enough. He died on January 5th, 1998. In 1994, 20,000 birds died. Salton Sea is now the most polluted lake in the States.
toxic due to when glyphosate breaks down. It releases phosphorus into the water, which results in the growth of toxic. People were dying due to the toxic air from the Salton Sea.
Previous.
Oh, yeah.
Salton Sea's elevation dropped more than 10 feet. This caused 15,000 and counting net acres of lakebed to being exposed.
Hola, mi nombre es Lilia y hoy les hablaré sobre un lugar muy especial, Salton City. Muchas veces cuando les hablo a mis familiares o a mis amigos de donde vivo, lo primero que se imaginan es una laguna contaminada o que es un desierto. Y no les voy a mentir que yo también coincidía con lo que pensaban, ya que aquí solo era reconocido por una laguna que no se puede visitar por su gran toxicidad, o que era un lugar con poca población. Pero ahora que lo pienso, quizás no sea tan malo. Empecemos a hablar por sus bonitos atardeceres. A mí no me gusta mucho salir para afuera porque por las tardes siempre está haciendo mucho calor. Pero si sé que está por anochecer, salgo para afuera solo para ver el atardecer y esperar hasta que anochezca. Y sobre la laguna, quizás no se pueda hacer nada con ella, pero es bastante bonita de lejos. Y mucho más si está amaneciendo porque refleja muy bonito el sol contra el agua. Al igual que porque aquí es un lugar bastante solo y no hay muchas tiendas, me gusta vivir en un lugar sin tanto ruido y con tranquilidad, donde mi casa no esté pegada a otra y teniendo la tranquilidad de que mi gatito tiene mucho lugar para explorar. Y por último, pero no menos importante, las estrellas por la noche. Estas se pueden admirar por las noches gracias a que aquí no hay contaminación lumínica. Esta es producida por el exceso de luz artificial. Su resultado es la disminución de oscuridad natural de la noche que oculta progresivamente a la luz de las estrellas y otros astros. Les podría decir mucho más sobre Salton City, pero tienes que venir aquí para experimentar lo que te digo. Y a continuación, un pequeño video de cómo era Salton City en el año 1950.
This is the story of the miracle sea in the desert, the Salton Sea. A sea in the desert with its wide sandy beaches, no tides or dangerous undercurrents, and with literally millions of fish ready for the taking.
Todas las fotos que salen aquí, yo las he tomado. Estas son de algunos esqueletos de peces que vi. Y las demás son de los paisajes de por aquí. Y espero que les haya gustado mi documental. Gracias por ver.
Millions of years ago, the Imperial Valley was entirely underwater. The waters of the Pacific Ocean covered the entire area. With time, dirt, and sediments from the Grand Canyon were brought to the area by the Colorado River and created a natural dam, leaving the valley as a hot and dry desert, where the surface is below sea level. The Colorado River continued to flow here, sometimes flooding the valley and creating a lake. It is known as ancient Lake Coahuila. I have come here to explore the remnants of this great lake. The ancient lake filled and receded several times in the area called the Salton Sink. It is believed that the largest it's ever been was almost 4,000 square miles and over 300 feet deep. The shoreline of Lake Coahuila left marks at the base of the nearby mountains, and artifacts found in the area suggest that there was a thriving fishing community here. Shells, barnacles, and salt deposits have been found throughout the desert, showing that everything was underwater for long periods of time. The current Salton Sea was created in 1905 by an engineering mistake. Although it is much smaller than the ancient lake, it is an important stop for migrating birds. Communities like Salton City have been formed on its shores.
It has been projected that the Salton Sea Lake will continue to shrink for thousands and thousands of acres per year. If nothing is done, then the salinity of the lake will rise and rise till life ceases to exist. The community surrounding the sea used to thrive, but now they're in great danger. So the only other thing is nothing.
Hey Keely, long time no see.
Hey Alejandra, long time no Salton see.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that. Oh my gosh.
Was waiting for that.
It brings me back to when we did that project in art and social justice back in college.
Yeah.
With the Salton Sea.
Got to bond over something that's like halfway between where we live.
Yeah, it's literally the midpoint from our hometowns. It's not the popular resort area that used to be called Bombay Beach, but it's still there. Which, do you remember the back in the 1950s? It was actually a pretty popular resort area where a lot of families would go and enjoy their summer vacations, and they would like water ski and also even have yachts there. They were just living the life. To think that now it's so much different. It used to be a resort. Now it's a barren wasteland with so many pollutants, from pesticides that they use while irrigating to other chemicals like lead and zinc and
yeah, and as the lake dries, that turns into wind that blows and spreads the pollutants around, which was my first experience with the Salton Sea. I didn't really know much about it before this, but one day there was just this huge wave of fog in the valley, and it all smelled like rotten eggs. And it was hydrogen sulfide that had blown over from the Salton Sea that sort of like jump-started why I wanted to like look more into it and research what was going on over there, because I just hadn't heard about it before then. Alejandra and I decided to like work on this in class, and we saw how the pollutants were all causing asthma.
Yeah, I learned that the areas nearby the Salton Sea have higher rates of like people with asthma and cancer, and that with those preconditions has greatly affected people that have gotten COVID as well. And looking back at my childhood growing up in the Imperial Valley, I can really vouch for that, because I do remember being in elementary, and a lot of my classmates and kids in general, a lot of them had asthma. And I also remember we had this like flag system of whether it was a good like air quality day or not. So it'd be something like we would have a green, yellow, an orange, and a red flag. The green flag meant that it was a good air day. Everybody could be outside. If it was a yellow flag, it'd be something like the air quality wasn't that good, but not enough to like be like dangerous. If it was like an orange flag, it'd be like, okay, the air quality is a little bit more bad. Not enough for like people without asthma, but like people with asthma were greatly recommended to be indoors for the day. And if it was like a red flag, which I didn't see that often, it was mainly like orange flags, but I did see it maybe a couple of times growing up. A red flag pretty much meant the air quality was like at its worst level, and it was recommended for just everybody in general to stay indoors for the day. Not only does it affect asthma, but it also causes people to get a lot of allergies. And that is something I have personally went through. Growing up, I would get a lot of allergies just going outside, smelling the dirt. I mean, I thought it was the dirt, but maybe it was all of the dust coming from the Salton Sea that would make me sneeze. It's not like the people hasn't wanted to do something about it. I mean, as you mentioned, like 18 years ago.
Yeah, in 2003, there was the Salton Sea Restoration Act, which promised to fix some of these issues. And like it started to, but it wasn't anywhere near rapid enough to keep up with how fast the lake was evaporating. And it's not like it's impossible to do things. It's just that it hasn't been prioritized and it hasn't been talked about enough, at least outside of the community. The issue needs to be taken seriously by Sacramento so some real help can happen.
Not only that, but they also need the pressure from the people, which I think could also be another reason why there's not much pressure, because I feel like a good chunk of the population here in the Coachella and Imperial Valley might not know much about just how impactful the environmental harm the Salton Sea is creating on their livelihoods.
Yeah.
So as we're continuing our research, we just want to keep on spreading more information about the Salton Sea. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Discuss the ongoing crisis at the Salton Sea.
Troubled waters, the Salton Sea project.
The Salton Sea certainly has a long and troubled history in our valley.
To help restore the Salton Sea environment.
And the Salton Sea is California's largest lake, larger than Lake Tahoe.
We talk about the Salton Sea today. We talk about millions of dollars in hopes of saving it.
The struggling Salton Sea is a hot topic as the water dwindles, exposing lake bed and sending unhealthy dust into the air.
The sea, created by an accidental flood in 1905, is shrinking.
The huge lake in our backyard is getting smaller and saltier every day.
The Salton Sea 4 years ago, like many who lived there watching the sea recede and die.
Several projects have tried to restore the sea to its former glory, but many of them have stalled.
Disaster sending children to the hospital has been an ecological disaster for decades. The lake is drying up, becoming a bigger health problem the longer it's neglected.
There is a place that I am from, the Salton Sea under the California sun. It's called a sea, it's called a lake, but either way, it was made by mistake. A place once full of fun, relaxation, and rest. Why are we left with a sea full of death? The lake keeps drying, and the shoreline is thin. I feel like I'm dying when its dust hits the wind. I cry for help. Am I alone? I can't breathe. Please, fix my home.
Hello.
Hi.
What does Salton Sea mean to you?
The only body of water we have around here.
Hello.
Hey.
What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
Death.
Hey, Anthony. What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
The Salton Sea means pollution mainly. That's what I see from it.
What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
Corruption.
Hey, what does the Salton Sea mean to you?
I don't know anything about it.
What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
I don't think about it.
What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
Bad air quality.
Oh, hi. Excuse me.
Hi.
What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
I thought you were supposed to go.
No, dale.
The Salton Sea is it's just really unfortunate, especially because of all the effects and negative impact that it's having on people.
Yeah, I would also have to agree with that viewpoint. I feel it's pretty tragic the way it is and the bad environment how it is.
Thank you. What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
I know it's one of the reasons people living in the Pearl Valley have respiratory problems.
Thank you. Hello. What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
It's full of trash.
Thank you. Hello. What does the Salton Sea mean to you?
Polluted.
Hello. Sí. No le pregunté, pero what does the Salton Sea mean to you?
The Salton Sea?
Sí.
It means that a lot of people are gonna get sick with asthma.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Just like the waves in the sea, the fish are scarce, then waters like to be. And long ago and beyond the land, your barnacle deep, but you know somewhere there's sand. Launch your boat and cast away. But who will listen? And who gets paid. The town may talk through beer and drinks. The sea is deeper than any of you may think. Somewhere in the muddy rivers flow someone ankle deep will soon know. So launch your boat and cast away. Can you listen and swim against the waves? Rocks they skip, but soon will float. Will mix with salt and words they wrote. And soon the wind blows through your towns and spread my ashes there, burn me down. Sun wishes sink into the sea. Will night cheer swallow imperial vow?
C'est vraiment la petite histoire de la fille aux cheveux trop raides que son père ne veut plus revoir et sa mère trop bien, trop laide. Elle est seule et cherche une amie à travers son rêve perdu. Elle monte les marches rapides, elle veut avoir le meilleur vue devant mon cinéma la vie, mais le film ne l'aime pas. Son histoire est triste et l'ennui. Elle préfère regarder là-bas sur notre planète. Là-bas, il a toujours la fête, un spectacle de fou, plus beau, plus gros. Là-bas que son hôtel, là-bas il n'a jamais de guerre. Ah non, les enfants vivent en nous, c'est la vie à Mars. C'est toujours la petite histoire de la fille aux cheveux trop raides qui pleure et que voudra revoir sa poupée, son chien et sa mère. Mais le ménage de ce monde ne lui donne que des illusions. Blanche-Neige fait des photos nues, mais que Mars est vu le couchant. Et son film revient toujours. Elle ne veut vraiment plus le voir. Histoire vécue plus 10 fois. Et nous que descendons à la base sur notre planète. Là-bas, il a toujours la fête. Un spectacle de fou. Plus beau, plus grand, là-bas que sur notre terre, là-bas, il n'a jamais de guerre. Les enfants vivent nous, c'est la vie à mort. C'est la vie en
Hi, I'm Dave.
And this is Chris.
And we want to save the Salton Sea.
Relax a while.
Are you all right? How did you get all the way out here?
It was you. In my dream, it was you.
In your dream?
You rescued me, and you're here. Everything's so beautiful in slumber's vision.
Dreams are the soul's true awakening. Something is unsound.
He doesn't make it.
I don't understand.
He doesn't return. In this dream, you don't return.
But I'm right here. Let's cut through the lucidity, right here and now. Change the course of history.
You can't alter the destination of reality.
Who says we can't try?
Stay in this. Stay with me, please.
Time.
The course of time does not matter.
The course of action and its trajectory.
Yes, this is here and now. Us. We are already changed.
We most certainly are.
So we're getting ready to do an aerial image with about 65 off-road vehicles over on the playa that shouldn't be here. So we're gonna send a drone up while all of the vehicles are spelling S.O.S. This is gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be challenging, but we have a lot of awesome off-roaders that wanna help out the Salton Sea. So let's make it happen. Save our sea.
And we have a great crew to help us do this today. 65 Jeeps for the sea. Woo! Woo! Save our sea.
So much to do with this area, and we need to fix it.
What if ending global warming was as easy as moving the water? Ocean levels are rising and threaten to displace millions within our lifetime. By transferring water from the ocean into dry depressions, we can lower ocean levels and promote local cooling while bringing new life to parched lands. Moving the water does not involve huge tanks or miles of pipeline. It can be as simple as digging a ditch and putting the water into an existing hole in the ground. By digging ditches and canals, we can move the water out of the ocean and into 11 water-deficient places around the world, creating new inland seas. These newly formed bodies of water will promote local cooling and invigorate nearly dead environments, bringing life to plants and wildlife. When water is introduced to new environments, it evaporates, returning as rain to areas that were once dry, further cooling the area. Evaporation extracts pure water from the salt water and returns it as clean rain. The rain forms streams, rivers, and lakes of fresh water, encouraging plant growth and greenery to dry environments. New plants will ingest CO2 out of the air and store it in their bodies. Plants will shade the ground, helping water percolate into the cooler soil. Imagine deserts that bloom green, new migratory patterns for animals, and more opportunities for farming in areas where there are currently hot, dry deserts. We can create these new bodies of water which will continuously supply moisture to the deserts while also lowering ocean levels over time. By moving the water, we can impact rising ocean levels and begin to reverse global warming. Help us build the future world we want to live in. Visit climate-rescue.org to learn more and donate. Proceeds will be allocated to spreading the message of the Move the Water campaign to everyone.
Say hello to the atmospheric wind extractor, or as we like to simply call it, the A. The A is the latest wind energy provider that is reliable, can be placed anywhere, and operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here is a cursory look into the inner workings of the A. The wind capture panels are attached to the upper tower. Housed on the main rotating structure are the airflow amplification systems, which incorporates Venturi impulse force exhaust thrust. The wind capture panels accommodate wind force and reduce drag. The flutter vane modules were designed to collect compressed air in winds less than 2 miles per hour. The external propellers connected to air compressors add additional thrust and controls overall speed. All wind capture elements are mounted on the rotating drive shaft. Descending down the tower from the drive shaft, we connect to the rotating main flywheel, which is the predominant torque power source linked to the compressor modules. There are 3 main sets of compressor modules: the flutter vane compressors, the air scoop propeller-driven compressors, and the main flywheel-driven compressors. Encircling the tower and attached to the compressors is the air intake ducting, supplying cooled dewatered intake air to an assembly of compressors. Here is a closer look at one of several large air compressors attached to the main flywheel. A key benefit of this device is the CO2 extraction system, or carbon scrubber, designed to remove CO2 from the captured air. Compressed air is transferred to the circulating heat exchanger. It increases the density of the air being stored and reheats the released air to run air motors which engage the generators. Working pressure energy is stored in the low pressure tanks. High pressure tanks store the bulk energy. Air is boosted to 5,000 psi for storage. Outtake air is regulated to 90 psi to accommodate for air motors. Compressed air is delivered to generator modules to drive rotation components that operate banks of electric generators, producing electricity 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This houses the electrical interconnection cabling and the voltage regulations equipment. All installation sites allow interconnection to existing utility distribution lines, even in urban settings. This will provide a distributed generation of power. One of the most important components of the A are its forced rotation modules. This unique feature uses less than 5% of the stored compressed air to apply force to the drive shaft, thereby causing rotation to continue during no wind conditions for up to 14 days, and to supplement rotation during light wind periods. This system uses cold decompressed air to chill the liquid in the condenser circulating system to below dew point. This function filters out airborne particulates as part of the treatment process. The water vapor condenser condenses the water vapor into a liquid water by reducing the temperature of the air below dew point. The water treatment modules ensure that any airborne bacteria or organisms are killed, creating potable water. After being treated, the now potable water is temporarily stored in these tanks. You've now met the only renewable energy device capable of providing utility-scale electricity on par with nuclear, coal, and natural gas. The patented A atmospheric wind extractor is the least expensive, most reliable renewable with 24/7 energy storage 365 days a year. It's the A. Simply put, it's awesome. Thanks for watching.